Good morning. Welcome to the Learning. Good morning. Welcome to the Learning Pro Live. My name's Cath Ellis, and I'm so glad to be here and doing another session for you on portfolios. And today I've got a lovely lady who's going to come and join us, and we're going to talk about her portfolio. Her name's Pamela. And in the meantime, while we're waiting for Pamela to join us, we're just going to talk a little bit about the last session. So I didn't do any portfolio reviews. I was really just talking about, at a very high level about really my portfolio. I was showing some examples from Troy Ashman's portfolio, and I've got some other goodies lined up for you today to talk about. In the meantime, I see we've got some comments already, which is great. We've got Gemini, excited for another session, not at midnight my time. And yeah, she's right up for it. And Joe is saying kiddo bedtime here, so I'll be back to watch the replay after story time. No dramas at all, Joe. So portfolios, we've got, we're at a time now, COVID-19, we can't go and we can't meet with recruiters. So it's really about how can we create our own calling card? How can we create our own presence out there? How can we sell ourselves in a better way so that employer, or, if we're looking to maybe get a promotion, how can we showcase our skills? And I think portfolios is the key. I hear a lot of people say, I don't need a portfolio. I somewhat disagree. We've got Pamela here, so let's bring her in. Hi, Pamela. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Great. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Just been doing a bit of an introduction, just talking a little bit about how portfolios are very important in this day and age, when we're basically can't go and meet with recruiters. We can't, if we're interviewing for jobs, it's really, this is our calling card. So you were very, very good last week. You actually, it was probably about 2.5 weeks ago. I did a call out for people to submit their portfolios for me to review, and you put yours forward, and that's brilliant. So I'm just going to bring yours up. And you know what? I didn't want to do it without you, Pamela. I thought, let's get you here, and then I can at least talk through what can you do with the theme, So when I'm making changes, I'm not just trying to, I'm not just talking and you're saying, well, the theme can't do it, or I don't know what to do at this point. So hopefully I can help you. I did a bit of research, and it's wordpress.com, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it's probably been like 2 years since I've updated it. And I actually think the theme is no longer supported.
Okay. So I can talk you through.
I might have to look into maybe another theme.
Yeah. And maybe we'll do that live. We'll look at it live and see what might be good options. I started out using wordpress.com. It was a long time ago. But I've done WordPress.com websites recently, and they, my goodness, I mean, the capability or the flexibility within the themes are great now. Like back in those days, they were absolutely awful, Pamela. So let me just bring up my page with the link to your site, and we'll bring it up. And like I said, I did do a little bit of research last night on what was your theme, and I said, okay, well, it's wordpress.com. I can see that. Let's just
I think the last portfolio site you did, you had this website where it's what's the theme.com or something. And I was curious because I couldn't remember what mine was, and I typed it in there, and it was it's not found. It knew it was WordPress, but it couldn't identify the theme. So that was interesting.
Let's share the screen. Just bear with me a moment.
Okay. And there's nothing wrong with WordPress, for starting out, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we've also, others are also very interested in this. Gemini says, I'll be interested in ideas and approaches to my homepage as I'm stuck. So we can go through this. So that's exactly what I did, Pamela. I went to, what theme is this? I literally just put your portfolio in. There's actually a few sites that do it. They've all got similar kind of names.
Yeah.
What WordPress theme is this? So it's showing here that there's a detected WordPress, but it's saying it can't be determined. And that's not too unusual with WordPress.com. So if we have a look at WordPress themes, actually, if you logged in the background, oh, Kylie's here. Hi, Kylie. How are you? If you log in the background of your website, it might actually tell us the theme. Maybe you can do that. And but I'll open up the WordPress.com themes for us to have a look at it and see what they've currently got.
Yeah, I think at the time I first did this, I think it was back in 2016.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot that offered more portfolio type styles.
Yeah.
So I think I had to go with the limited options, and I just chose one of the free ones.
Yeah, well, you can see now that this is all changed, as far as a portfolio. Oh, here you go. It's Argent that you used.
Oh, is it? Oh.
This looks quite familiar. See how it's centered in the middle?
Yes, that does look like it.
Okay, well, this is good because this actually gives us hopefully a working version of Argent that we can click on and look at. Let's have a quick look at it, at what you can do with it. Okay. And this is great because this is the way that I work with themes. I will normally look at the theme demo and I'll go, radio. This is telling me that I can use a image. So see, at the moment, you haven't got an image behind here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can put an image. We've got some different functionality here that I don't think you're utilizing on that homepage. So this is obviously the portfolio functionality. Even though I tell a lie because you actually are using it here. So that's okay.
It's separate. It's not like a page. It's an actual portfolio.
Yeah. So, okay, great. We know now that we've got the right theme. Whether that's a theme that you want to continue with, okay. Look, as far as reviewing your site, looks good. There's a few minor tweaks that I would suggest, and a couple of them just starting from the very top. The theme that you've chosen doesn't seem to natively have a logo like we see in a lot of websites now. A logo might be center aligned or left aligned, etc. And there's no harm in that because you've got your logo here in the middle, okay? But if we just come to the top here, so some suggestions that I'd make. The hello. So what I normally do when I talk to a client about what would you like your tab names to be at the top, I normally say there's usually a standard, and I like to keep to those standards for SEO, search engine optimization. Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
If someone's looking for Pamela, is it Kiefer?
It's Kiefer, like Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland, right. So if someone's searching for Pamela Kiefer services or portfolio, that's more likely to come up rather than what I do. So there's reasons that there's normally a standard that people call their pages certain things. So the first thing that I did last night is I had a look here and I said, okay, because sometimes people don't put a home button. They don't put a home button because the logo actually, people know that the logo goes straight to a home page. Okay. So that's fine. So I'd recommend changing some of these, but again, this is just my preference for SEO purposes. So I changed that to to home. Okay.
Yeah.
The one I do, see how you've got down here in the bottom left-hand corner, it says, I'm highlighting this, but in the bottom, it's showing your URL. So your URL is actually saying portfolio, but I'd probably put portfolio up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, these are just suggestions. Do you know how to do that?
Yeah. I guess I never thought of it in terms of search engine and, what searchable words. So that's very enlightening. I never went there with it when I was thinking about it.
If you look at most businesses, even if we go into Kylie's website, I'm trying to think. Kylie, if you're still here, what's your email? What's your website? Because just as an example, or I can even show you. Well, I mean, it's a bit biased me showing you mine. I'm trying to think what Kylie's company's called. If she's still tuned in, let me see if I can look it up. I'd be surprised if it was different. So if we just look up Kylie Sinclair, I actually want to invite Kylie on to talk. Oh, Change Republic. Let me find her website. Here we go. So we should see Change Republic. Great, Kylie. Oh, well, she's done the same thing. So that's okay. She's got How We Work for L&D, our community joined. So, look, I would certainly say, let's have a look at Tim Slade's. I'm going to prove myself wrong now.
Well, no, it definitely makes sense to have it say portfolio. I mean, because the URL is portfolio, right?
Yeah.
And should it match?
Well, again, look, this is the more standard, right? Portfolio, about, contact.
Okay.
That's generally what I do. And from what I've learned, it ranks. It can rank a little bit better. Troy uses something else. Let's see what Troy does. What does Troy do? About, services, work, blog, contact. Again, so if I were you, I'd probably go portfolio other than what I do, because people want to see a portfolio, and I think it's really enticing when someone goes onto the website. Portfolio, okay.
Makes it clear.
Who I am. So I noticed that the page is actually called New Page. So see if look down here on the bottom left-hand corner, see how it says New Dash Page. So maybe change that to About.
Yeah.
Now, again, look, this is just my preference. You can see that other people are doing different things. Kylie says, I like portfolio. Again, contact. So what I've done for my search engine optimization is search engines want certain things. Pamela, do you know a lot about SEO?
I'm learning a lot.
Learning.
Yeah. So I haven't done much web design. So, I've started to become more aware of it lately.
So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to log into the back of my website. Okay. Just bear with me a moment, and I'm going to show you some kind of things that they're looking for. Okay. Just bear with me. Because you can, even though it may not be something natively that you can do within WordPress.com, there's some rules that you should try and follow. Okay. So if I jump in here, just bear with me. And I'll go to a post and I'll just show you. Or maybe what's going to be the best thing to go to? I'll just go to a post because it's exactly the same.
And I'm just looking on the back end of mine just to see, you know, where I can change some of these things.
So what is the difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org is you can add plugins. That's been a little while since I've used WordPress.com, but you can add plugins in the background. So I use this SEO by Yoast. Okay. And what that does is it gives me a little additional panel on the bottom of my website. And what it's doing is it's giving me a rank on my SEO and my readability. And if we just have a look at SEO here, okay, it should be, so see how it's orange. So it's saying this isn't quite, there's some adjustments that you can make on this post to make it a bit better. And the thing that it's rating me on are some of these things. Okay. So it's saying, it's giving me a green light for key phrase in slug. So the slug is the, see how I've got a focus keyword on the page here, images. That's my focus. So I want someone who looks on my website to look for images. Okay. So key phrase in slug. So that word image is here in my slug, finding great images for your e-learning project. So I've gone, what is the key thing that I want to be talking about here? So whether it's contact me, okay, you need that name in the slug, okay. Previously used key phrase, so it's trying to encourage you not to use it, you know, for example, for us, e-learning or e-learning on every page. Google will be like, what's going on? It's just too much, right? Meta description length. So again, on Google, how you can write a little meta description, it wants that keyword in there as well. So Google's like, right, what is she talking about? Is it in the link? It's saying, is it in the description? And it's going ding, ding, ding. Yep. Happy days. And
going back, the slug, is that like the title or is that something?
Yeah, the slug's this. So you know how you've got on that one of those pages, who I am, you've got just new page.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out.
So you just need to rename the slug on that. So it's giving you all these different, kind of ticks. So see the key phrase in the introduction, right? So this is where you might be getting penalized a little bit if you don't have, see how you've got say hi back here? Mm-hmm. Well, this is an H1 tag. And H1 tags help you get ranked. You know, you want to use a H1 tag, just like we do in instructional design. We use a header and then we use a subheader, you know, or an H1, H2, H3 in the order that we're delivering the content. Mm-hmm. That's what Google's ranking you on as well. So that's say hi back. This is why you kind of need contact there. so that it can tick you off on another thing. Anyway, it's just a suggestion. So that's the first thing that I'd say, okay? And look, I'll do a session on SEO at some point, because I think that it's something that people don't really understand. But you can see these tools give you some suggestions on how you can get this ranking perfectly. But I'll talk about that later. I just want to explain that to you, okay? So straight off the bat, it's looking good. If we look at the Argent theme, I would make a suggestion that you put an image behind your portfolio.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to do this, Pamela, honestly, I'll sit with you off screen and show you how to do it, okay?
Okay.
All right. So for me, as a learning designer, oh, hi, Emma Pawson, how are you? She's always a good one. How challenging is WordPress compared to other site builders? That's a good question. I don't think it's that hard, because I've been using it for years. But I think if you're willing to sign up for like a Treehouse course or a Skillshare course, you can even do it on a trial. You can learn how to use it in a couple of hours just from going through all the different steps. Hi, Emma Pawson. So you're obviously you've got a really nice set of examples in your portfolio, Pamela. So I try and put something in the back. So I use a couple of programs. You were in the last session, weren't you? You came, yeah. So in the last session, I showed you a mock-up screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could maybe stick one in a mock-up screen and pop it in the background here. You may also just want to put something that's pretty generic like this, that you can go onto Unsplash and get an image and pop it in the back, okay? So you can see that Argent has got some nice little functionality. I haven't looked too far in, so let's just see what other things it can do, okay? So it's got HTML elements. Let's just have a look at the styling that you can do. Okay, so you can left align text. You can put a quote. Sorry, that's right. It's early in the morning here. I'm a night owl. You can left align an image. Okay, you can put forward images. So you can see that off the bat, Argent offers a number of different formats. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be nervous. And this might be a little bit like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. Either putting an image of yourself, okay, so people know who you are.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yeah. I think
I asked you about that in the last session, whether or not an image would be good.
I think it's really powerful having an image. I think there's a thing about trust. So when someone comes to your website and they see some examples of your work, it could even be a screen capture of a mocked up piece of your work. I think people like to see that. So I found this really funny. I don't think you need to explain that. What do you think? That's such an instructional designer thing to do.
Yeah. Please go back up.
Please go back up. So what I would do is I'd talk a little bit more about, you know, what you specialize in, you know. So this one you could just literally replace with, I specialize in working with articulate storyline. Do you working in any other specific tools, Pam?
Yeah, Storyline, Rise, Adobe Suite.
Yeah,
that's mostly where I'm working.
So what is really nice about this is you can still use these terms, say hi back or what I do, but just change these ones up here to portfolio and stuff, right? This is just a link. So this is nice and personal. You know, you can do this. You can just change these to because I think it automatically puts it in that format. Just make it a hyperlink through to the page. See, Google will rank you higher for doing that as well, because you're referring to more content within your website. Okay, so I'd say here, welcome to this portfolio site. I put a picture, and see how it's going to say hello there. You might want to, I don't know if you can remove that. So because that's going to say home. How have they done it here? Let's see. Home. Yeah, so they haven't got that displayed there.
Yeah, I think that's like just like the title, sort of like that top.
You might be able to just turn that off on that home page. Yeah. So I think it's probably a something that you can select to turn on and turn off. And like I said, off screen, we can I can help you with that. So that I think it doesn't need to have a lot, you know. If you put a little bit about what you specialize in straight off the bat, you're hooking them in. And I think it's really important that you try and hook people in and get people moving around your website. This is why sometimes using like the Argent theme on the homepage, it had a couple of portfolio items.
Yeah.
What this is called is I've forgotten, what is it called? There's a bounce rate. Okay. So again, Google monitors and sees how fast is someone leaving the website.
Oh.
By doing that, you kind of want to have things on the page. If we look at, for example, Kylie's Change Republic, see how she's got these little call to action, you know. She's got little bits of interest that are keeping, you know, as people are moving down, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm maybe not ready to start a project. Let's see some more. Oh, yeah, you know, and she's kind of got these little things that are going to hopefully keep people moving around the website. Right. Okay, so this is what we kind of want. So you want some kind of call to action. So this is what's nice about the way that they've done this. So if you look at my homepage, I've kind of got some different things where I say, are you interested in booking a call? Now, let me ask you, Pam, are you is it Pam or Pamela?
Pamela.
Pamela. Yeah. So Pamela.
Thank you for asking.
No, do you know what? Because people call me Kathy and I hate it.
Oh.
Right? So I shouldn't have called you Pam without asking. So what's really nice is you can put multiple things and then go into more detail in your pages, like your services and your about me, but you're just touching on little bits. So that's why I kind of so Pamela, are you a freelancer, or is this just your portfolio while you're working full time, or are you a freelancer?
So I haven't quite made the leap into freelancing. Mostly I've just been using this to direct, like if I'm applying for a job or being considered for a position, I mostly direct them to this page so that they can see some examples of my work.
Yeah. So you might want to give them a bit of a taste to see what is to come in the website. So you could literally put in this functionality, and have a heading that says some of my recent work, okay, you might even put 2 examples. You don't have to put 3. You can put 1 example, but what you're doing is you're giving them a little bit of a taste and see how you can. So if we change this, you take hello away and you've got a nice image of you and you say what you do. Please take a look at what I do and say back to me, you know, let me know what you think. Have fun looking around. And you might want to put another section here that has some portfolio items. You say, take a look at some of my recent work, just like here. Okay. See, if you've got any recommendations on LinkedIn, you could also use a function. Let's see at some of these elements. Right, so they don't have anything specifically that they're showcasing as a testimonial, but you could either mock something up or you could use something like this as a testimonial. And I think that's nice for people to just see what people are saying about working with you, you know?
Gotcha.
So that's just an example. So other than that, you don't need much because you've got the bones there. I think having an image at the top is really good. And I think having a picture of you and just saying at a very high level what you do, possibly a couple of examples of your work on here. And then if we have a look, do you have any questions? I shouldn't just jump around.
Mostly I just sort of absorb and then process.
All right.
So no questions right now, other than like in my head, I'm like trying to think of how to do that. Like you're saying, add this here, and in my head, I'm like, oh, right, I could do that, and I could do that. So I'm already brainstorming.
Yeah.
Ideas. Yeah.
And we can go as far as you want here. I can either go into this on the screen with you, or we can do it offline. It's totally cool. Okay. So, you know, I really liked that you've created a little video showing, you know, you've got a pretty nice little breakdown of what you've done here working on this project at Siemens. You've got a video, which I thought was really nice. I'm just going to turn the audio off so I don't get any copyright claims for not owning the music. So this is good because this is showcasing your skills. Okay. So really nice. And you've got another video, or is this the same video?
That's the same video.
That's the same video.
No, okay, I think at the time I did this, it was like I provided the link written out just in case it wasn't functioning. So they could still.
I think like, WordPress has pretty much got that stuff down pat. So I'd say you probably don't need the link.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion.
Yeah. Just hearing you ask, is that another video, makes me think, oh, okay, that's confusing. Let's not make it confusing.
Yeah, so I keep it there. I keep this now. This is the overview. Okay. And like I said in the last session, you can do things like break this down of what was the problem, what was the solution, and what was the result. But to be honest, I don't do that all the time. Okay. And especially if something as well is a passion project that you've done. So this is very similar to what I do, whereas I break down what I did in this. And you can do this in different ways. I'd probably break this down a little bit more so it's really clear.
Like the bullet points, kind of.
Yeah, or so I do it. I do it like this. I know Tim does the same thing where he. Come on. my website, my computer's like, too many tabs open, too many tabs.
Yeah.
So if I just go into this one, you'll see that I've just broken it down where I've kind of gone client, year, category, and then I've gone that way. So it's a very high level.
Is that a table? Like, how is that?
So WordPress should allow you to format boxes in different ways.
Oh, okay.
So this might be a quarter, and a half.
Okay.
And I just do it that way. So I would put a quarter with a heading on that side. And then I'd add another box with these ones.
Okay. Okay.
Do you know what? It's about, for example, if you like the layout of this, just trying to reverse engineer it. Okay. So it's like, okay, what is the functionality of WordPress? Right. So I can do this, this, and this, and then do another one. Yeah. So that's how I do it, because do you know what? I want Google to rank me on these keywords. Right. So I like yours as well, though, because you've gone into some detail. So you might just find another way that works for you to format that so it's more visible. And that's all I've done. I want people to come in here and go, right, okay, so that's what she's used. It's really clear.
Yeah, there's like a hierarchy there, and yeah, makes sense.
So I thought this was good. And you've got your comments, all good. So we're just going to go back. So I thought that was great. You've got the portfolio looking great. Here, we've got another example. And what you can do is, again, just use that mock-up site. I think there's nothing nicer than seeing that on a screen, But it might be that you don't have access to that image anymore and you can't do it. So don't worry too much if you can't. It's just a suggestion, okay?
Now, would you, like, if I have samples of work that I've done that I have the rights to and I can share, would you recommend having it so it's fully functional? They can go through it, like, and click where they need to click, or?
You can.
Yeah.
You can. But you're also doing the demo, which is good. So it's up to you. I mean, actually, if Kylie's still on with us, maybe Kylie can let us know. Kylie obviously is the owner of Change Republic, and they're a company that hires instructional designers and digital designers. They're based out here in Australia. However, I would say what you've got there is good as well. So some people don't have videos, some people have a live version. Sometimes I can't put a live version on and I just put imagery. So do you know what? You could potentially put a few examples up. And if you use things like, do you use Google Analytics on your website? No. So you could, and again, I'll talk to you about this later when I'm helping you, but you could put Google Analytics on there. So you could track and see, are people actually looking at the links?
Yes, that'd be very
So I think your portfolio is pretty solid. Okay. So those are just the suggested things that I recommend changing some formatting. So the who I am, you.
Sorry.
Go on, Pamela.
I was gonna ask because I was thinking about linking to my eLearning Heroes portfolio with Articulate. And I wasn't sure if that was going to be just strange to have something in, you know, like linking out of the site to another one, or if that would still be good because now I'm showing more of my work. Or should I just take what I have in that eLearning Heroes and add it to here?
I'd go that way. You want as much as you want as much as you can here. It's like eLearning. You know, when you work with a client and they say, I want all these links, I'll generally say, well, if you're linking off to another website, let's put that in a resources section. Because we don't want learners to go off on a tangent and get lost, and you ultimately don't want someone to leave your page and go somewhere else and then go, oh, look at someone else, right? So I'd reverse engineer it. It's like when I write blogs, even though I don't do a lot of blogs, I generally will do the blogs on my website and share them out to social media rather than writing them on LinkedIn and having them, even though things like LinkedIn want you to have as much content on their platform as possible. That's what I try and do, you know. So I'd suggest try and get those examples and put them on the website. But if they're not examples of work that you ever want to do, you know, don't put them on.
Right.
Or if they're maybe ones that you were like, should I just, if that little voice in your head, just don't put it on. Okay.
All right. It's more just sort of the fun stuff. Like, you know, they have those challenges. It's just kind of that sort of fun stuff. So it's not like for anybody in particular.
And I
just
showed
for
you
myself.
last time, my stuff was, you know, a lot of the little things that I did in the beginning, these were just like, that was a eLearning Heroes challenge. That was my first challenge, I think.
So did you make note of that, or is it just you're just saying this is what I did?
No, let's see what I put. God, it's so long since I did this. Here, I decided to create a game in the Articulate Challenge 65, designing a unified template. It was my first submission, but I was really happy, blah, blah, blah. And I was saying I was inspired by the company Sponge UK that have a similar feel to their brand. So at the time, they used to use this half-tone kind of look. So, yeah, I kind of just, it doesn't need to be formal. It can just be a brain dump of, this is how I was feeling, this is what I did, this is the inspiration that it came from. So,
what does your preview down there do?
that's how I've actually launched it, but I'm not even sure if this works. Yeah.
Music works.
So I obviously need to update that before Flash gets totally turned off, you know. Yeah, and you can see that's 5 years ago. Yeah. Right. So that's a very, very old thing. So I think you're going really well. If you want to host things, you can use Amazon S3, which again is down a whole other, you know, is another thing that's a bit complicated. Now we've got a couple of comments here. Let's see. Gemini, Google is not flexible or customizable enough for my desires. Fair enough. So she's just been talking about Troy's site. Very good, Gemini. If you guys are listening, jump in. Let me know what your feedback is. Do you think I'm wrong with some of the suggestions for Pamela? Would you agree? Any of your suggestions? And again, you might find that with WordPress.com, it's the same image that comes across on all of your headings, but that's okay. So that's where you want to really be very careful with how you select it. As far as Amazon S3, even if you go to the eLearning Heroes, so I just search. Normally, some nerd has explained how to do it. So this,
thank goodness.
Them using Amazon S3, and Amazon S3 is really unique because it costs pennies to host your things in the cloud. Like I don't even know if I pay anything for the amount that I've got in there. So someone will have a tutorial somewhere. So Tom Coleman's obviously done a post on Amazon S3. So it's about just doing a bit of a search. And if you're stuck, just jump on the forum and ask someone to help you. Mm-hmm. I might do a setup as well on how to do it. And then all you do is you log into Amazon S3, upload the storyline file, the zip file, and you can put a little button and do a preview on your portfolio things. Okay.
So that's preferable over using, like, let's say the review link, or yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would. But I know some people do the review link. What do you guys think? How would you feel about putting the review link out there for people to review on your portfolio, guys? So Gemini said Tom has an article on using both Google Cloud Platform and AWS. And Gemini agrees. Good ideas. Okay. So you've got what I do, because you don't have a services page. Okay. Now, it might be you can put that on your homepage. Here are some of the things that I do: instructional design, e-learning development, etc. So the about page, the who I am, I think that this is pretty nice. You've got a good image of yourself. Okay, so you've got a bit of this is your kind of mantra or mission, or I believe that meaningful interactions are created for mindful design. So I design with the user in mind. Okay. I don't mind that. That's fine. You've got your resume here.
Ooh.
Which is just a PDF. Is it?
Oh, man.
All right. Let me just open that back up. So you've got your you've got your resume. Do you know, another thing you can consider, and this is just an idea, you can put your resume as a page, and then Google's ranking for those terms.
Yeah. Because
I don't think Google ranks this way. So just a suggestion. That's what I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that was in some of the examples you shared, that it was just right there.
I don't share it. It's not out there for the world, and I haven't updated it in years, but it is there. And what it's doing is it is ranking for terms, so it's just an idea. Okay, so you've got a professional bio, right? Again, maybe chunk it down a little bit so it's not just one big. So, you talk about your education, then maybe do, even give it a little subheading.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Education, career progression. Leonard said, I wouldn't include the review function on with 360. I want visitors to experience the content and get immersed in it. Mm. Yeah. So that's how I feel as well. Good point, Leonard. That's brilliant. And then you're kind of doing this already. You're getting ranked on these terms here. So it's just thinking about what are the things on my resume that I can add onto the page And you may have covered it all. I didn't look at your resume. Okay. Now this is quite formal. And I don't dislike it. It's kind of, I think what it's telling people is it's telling people that you have a good understanding of the theory of education, and this is your philosophy. What you can do to make this look different is if you see how on the Argent page, if I go to the home page, see how they've got a block here. You might be able to put a different color block behind certain information. Now, I don't know if that's fully what you can do.
Yeah.
Bear with me. Let's just see. Yeah, you might not be able to do it, but if you can, that's generally how I break down a lot of my information. So if I go to about, it just separates the content. So see how I've kind of got content broken down here. It makes it stand out more. So see, I've got white, I've got a black background, but I'm acknowledging that WordPress sometimes doesn't allow you to do that so easy. Okay. But other than that,
add it as an image, but then you're losing that text part of it, you know,
because you can just use a solid color.
Yeah.
Just use a solid color. Now the contact page, you don't really need much. Okay. So I think that this is fine. You could potentially ask them more questions, like, you know, you could have a drop down. What are you contacting me regarding? So mine's quite detailed because I want to get as much as I can before I contact someone back. You know, what services do you need? How can I help you? What's your budget? What's your time frame? What's your inspiration? You may not be at a point that you need that. But I think that this is pretty good. And once you change the slug, it will just say contact. And I think that's going to rank you better. So you're doing really well. It's just minor changes to put a few more visuals in there, I think. And then what's nice about the demo is it's showing you an example of the footer, and you've pretty much got that down packed as well. I think it's the same. Yeah. So they've got a navigation, they've got some text, and then they've got their social media. So, you know, what you can do is you can, instead of having a search, in which the search is still fine, you could put the search underneath one of these things and have a little bit about you. Have your name, you know, about Pamela Kiefer, and just say, you know, I'm an e-learning designer from South Carolina.
Close. North Carolina.
North Carolina. You know, who specializes in articulate storyline and an articulate rise. Just a little introduction. So you can have that. So it's on every single page. And that's nice, because if you do start blogging, so you can see this theme allows you to blog as well. Okay. If you do start blogging, for example, if someone finds your page on Google on a specific topic and they go to it and they haven't gone through that homepage where they've seen you, when they scroll down, they actually see a little bit about you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's where it becomes useful.
I think so. Yeah. That's why, again, if we go to Change Republic, what have they got in their footer? Okay, so they don't have anything in their footer, but you'll find a lot of websites have this kind of thing, even if it's just putting your email, your phone number. You know, I had someone steal my website, so I put this in place, this DMCA protected, which means that I've got a function there. If someone takes images from my website, they will just tell them to take it down. I don't have to pay. I think I pay $5.99 a month, and it's never happened again. I don't think it ever will. But so, do I think, you mentioned before about themes. I don't think you need to change your theme up. Okay. But what I will say is it doesn't take much if you do decide to kind of go to WordPress.com themes. Oh, let's have a look, maybe. Yeah, so if we want to have a look at some of the themes that are available, if you can get your head around changing some of the stuff that's in yours at the moment, you might feel comfortable in a year, maybe, or in 6 months, to try a different theme, because there's some really good free themes. Mm-hmm. Then you might go, oh, I put photography. What am I doing? Portfolio. Why is it doing photography? Yeah, don't click enter. The free ones, okay. But then if you invest a little bit, and I'll be honest with you, it's a good investment. Like if you can save a little bit and upgrade it. This is more for a blog.
Now, do they let you try before you buy, just to see, before you commit to a theme?
Well, the nice thing is that a lot of them have demos. So let's see if I can see one that looks quite nice. So these all have portfolio functions in them. Let's have a look at this. See, this looks quite nice. Let's have a look. See, here's the thing. I think personally, people are mad to start from scratch. Okay. I think if you can find a really good theme, you should start with a theme, because they're showing you best practice on how this was meant to look. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think this looks very, very nice, right? You might not need to use all of the functionality, because obviously this has a lot of blog articles here, okay? But I think this looks very clean, and it's about the impression that you get the minute that you go on there. This is your calling card. Now, what was that, $86? If you went off and got Moo cards, or if you got business cards printed, you can maybe get 200 business cards for this price. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is your calling card now. This is what's showing basically what you're capable of. So this is obviously, pardon, I've got dogs barking in the background. This is obviously a photography, they've got photographs here. However, there's no reason that you couldn't use this portfolio functionality for e-learning. So you might go through here and you go, yeah, I'm going to invest in getting a different theme at some point. You know, I like the way this looks. It's got a nice search function on it. Let's see about me. So we looked at that before. It's got a style guide showing basically some of the native functionality in here with regards to aligning content. So what I'll do is, if you are happy, I'll continue with you offline and I'll show some examples of some portfolios. I'll keep you here. We'll have a chat. We've become old friends now. So, and I'll share this with you later, so you know where to find this. I'll just pop it here. So there was some websites that I sourced last week. My friend Emma Pawson, who might be still here, give us a shout if you're still here, Emma. She reminded me of a really good link that Mel Milloway had shared in one of her newsletters, I think it was. And it was this best folios. And it's things like this that give me inspiration on how to format content. And what was really nice about this bestfolios.com is you've got a few different examples here. So if someone just wanted to build a resume, it actually has some, you know, resume specific examples. But if we have a look at portfolios here, it has some really great examples of portfolios. And yes, these are designers. And yes, they're probably a little bit more funky than what an e-learning designer would have. But I actually think that they're still very, very relevant. So when I was looking through this, I actually curated a couple that I think looked really great. And they were from this website. And this was one that I just thought looked very, very clean. And again, we shouldn't be scared about using colors like a dark colors. I think this looks very modern. And this is just a one-pager that has a link off to Behance, a link off to LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. So let's say you had come to me and you said, look, I just want something that is like I've bought my domain name. I want a bit of an introduction, and I've got all of my examples off in eLearning Heroes. Well, I'd say something like this is perfect because you can literally put that link off to eLearning Heroes and off they go. They can look at your portfolio there. Like they have Behance, that's a portfolio site. So I don't mind the look of this, nice and clean. Someone could do this in a few hours, too easy. Now, the next one. I'll just close this so I don't have so many things open. Okay, so I thought this looked very pretty as well. So this is a designer, obviously graphic designer, does illustration and does information like us. I mean, probably copywriting, instructional design. Okay. And this is where this stuff is all blending together, Pamela. Yeah. So this one is really focused on this person's portfolio. So they've got beautiful examples. And if we just click on this first one, that's another thing. If you want to showcase, see on your front page, if you put a couple of portfolio things, put your best work on that front page.
Yeah.
Like the work that you want to be doing, because that's what's going to keep people moving around your portfolio. So here, see a little bit like mine, where they've got who the client was, what it was, a little bit of a blurb. So there doesn't need to be a lot. I think people are really attracted to imagery. And I will argue this. I'm very passionate about portfolios. Total nerd, Pamela. So talk about this quite a lot with people. And I hear it. I don't need a portfolio. And I say, well, I wouldn't go to, if I was wanting a garden fence put into my garden tomorrow, and I went on a website and they didn't show one example of a garden fence, I would move to somewhere else that showed examples of their work. Mm. So we think about basically what we do every day in life. So that was just one example. You know, she hasn't got a lot here. This is obviously a breakdown of different stuff that she's done. And then graphic design, illustration. It's taking a while to load. That's okay. I'll show you another one. So I like this for a number of reasons. I mean, obviously, this is someone who's into some really cool designs, 3D designs. I actually love this because this is his logo.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got resume just like yours. Okay, he's got some imagery where he's showing a little bit about him, because you can have a bit of fun as well, and you can be personal. I mean, I talk about my wife and my dogs. You know, I'm you know, I'm not nervous about telling people who I am, because I kind of go, if you don't like who I am because I'm gay, go somewhere else. I'd rather have people embrace me for who I am, you know. So putting a bit of personality and a little bit about you doesn't harm, doesn't do you any harm. I think it's better for you.
It's honest.
So that's the first page. So he's got into it now. That first page actually is very plain, but there he's got digital. So now he's really showing it. I think this guy works for quite a few big companies, Facebook, etc. So here we go. Let's have a look at this. So he's using really great imagery here. He's mocked this stuff up looking absolutely schmicko. And all of these kind of mock-ups are available on that mock-up site that I sent.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you can see that he's kind of broken this down so it's very visual. And he's also explaining, I'm saying it's a he, I'm thinking it's a he, explaining the role that they took in this project. Again, you've got some nice designs. What was the design process? And you can see how they've broken it down with a nice little subtle, I mean, you could just use a line to break down this information. And again, gone into a massive amount of detail. So it's how much you want to put in there. See, this person is a UX designer. So this is what companies want to see, that the individual has understood the process, and if going for a job can recreate a process like this. So this is very, very in depth. Okay, and you can see it goes on and it goes on and it goes on, even concept videos. It's great.
Wow.
So I've put these links in the previous video. I put them in the resources. Let's have a look at this one. And I hope you guys are finding this useful. Please let me know, is there anything that I'm missing out? Have you got any questions? I'm happy to try and give you some advice or help in any way. So this is another product designer. I just like the way that they've gone straight into it. If you don't like having a lot of information about you, it can just be about going straight into the portfolio. So let's see if there's anything here. Let's have a look at this. So obviously this person does branding. You can see they've got a very high level overview. Nice big images. See, I do stuff like this as well. I try and show my colors and my fonts. I think that it doesn't really, it's not something that a lot of instructional designers do, but what I want to show is that I've thought through the person's brand and how I've broken it down.
Yeah.
Again, we're seeing examples of things in a mock-up state. So just another example. We've got Cody. So again, another product designer, has worked for some pretty big companies. Let's have a look at Uber. Okay, so again, it's got really nice mock-ups, very clear definition of what the role was. And if you think about it, this is kind of like what was the result, I like this. I like putting a bit of personality into it, showing the team. And again, see, we've got work. He's used so his Let's Chat has gone through to an email. So he hasn't got a dedicated form. So that's the work is the portfolio, because that was the landing page. And then here about, so he's got about too. And I try and not do that, because there's obviously an about page and then he's duplicated it and it's about too. So if this is, this looks like a resume basically, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my suggestion. Don't try and not do that, in which you haven't. And then he's got links to his Instagram and LinkedIn. So nice and simple. And these are people who work, and this is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't need to be major, right? This is someone who works for Uber, who works, we've seen examples from Facebook. These are companies that I go, oh, I would absolutely die to work for these companies, right? Well, I probably wouldn't. I love my life too much as it is, just doing my own thing. But these are companies that people are being hired, and this is their portfolio. So, you don't need to overthink this. Just use these for inspiration. And I'll make this our last one, Pam. But I want to give some people some different ideas. I love this.
Even if it's just looking how they use the images or like what colors they're using and fonts, that's all just stuff you can absorb as well.
Yeah. This one I loved. I loved the font. Like the first thing that I did was I used this little plugin and I was like, what is this font? But it doesn't show. I can see you all 400.
Oh, wow.
So, Yeah, really love this. So this is a French digital designer.
I like the texture on that.
Isn't it lovely? It's like a paper.
Yeah.
And there's nothing stopping you guys from, you know, being creative and adding textures and things like this. So I sometimes try and re-engineer things. So I'll actually look and see. I just right-clicked on my Chrome browser and I went to inspect. And what I'll do is I'll do things like I'll hover over the section and I'll try and work out, okay, where is this? Where is this image? Okay. And what I try and do is I'll go, I want to see what size of image that is so it looks that good when it's on the back of my website. I bet you I won't be able to find this now.
I wonder if it's embedded like in the, I want to say like the CSS, you know, somewhere that it's referencing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, totally love this. I'm not sure if this has been built in something like Webflow, actually, but it looks fantastic. You can see this person's worked for, you know, some great companies, Tesla. And, you know, it's not just inspiration for your portfolio, Pamela. It's about inspiration for everything, like e-learning design. How can we make our content look more sexy? How are designers chunking content down? I take a lot of inspiration from that. Okay. Even just things like going into something and seeing that interaction. See how I went into that? Yeah. Looks really nice. So I hope that this has been helpful, Pamela. I know we've gone on for a long time. How do you feel about the feedback?
I feel good. I think you brought up a lot of things that I never even considered before. So that's really good. Like some of the things you mentioned, I knew I needed to work on. And I think I just need to get more familiar with the theme.
Look, I don't think the theme is an issue. I think the theme's pretty good. I don't think your content's bad. I think there's minor tweaks that you can do. And you can use the Argent theme to give you an example of, you know, ways that you can add an image, you know. So the Argent theme had some examples of where you can place images. I like visuals. So that would be my that would be the suggestion that I would make. Put more visuals in. And but there were minor things. I mean, another thing that you could consider is in keeping this domain name, but actually having your name up here. So having the portfolio, just as I've done, Cath Ellis, having it Pamela Kiefer. However, this is what your brand is. This is what you've.
Yeah. Unless I can add like a logo somewhere, right?
Yeah, so we can have a look at that together and see if there's a way that you can put a logo in. But I think that you've got good bones there, And you might find that when you're ready, you'll decide to do an update. Katrina, you said such a great point, Kath. What point was that? Sorry, I didn't see your comment come in. But I think you've got really good bones there, and it's really about when you're ready, taking, and it really is a bit of a nerve-wracking thing to go, I'm going to upgrade I'm gonna buy a theme. I'm gonna change my theme.
Yeah,
I actually think that it gets you stronger. You know, it builds your skills in WordPress, and you'll get more confident with it, and you'll go, oh, change my theme. In another 6 months, you might go, yeah, that theme I didn't like. I've seen another theme, and you'll go on and you'll do that as well. You might even say, hey, I'm going to host my own website, and I'm going to do a WordPress.org, which then opens up a whole new, a whole new world of plugins and themes.
Wow.
So on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I really appreciate you reviewing my portfolio. I definitely have a lot to consider and kind of take in what you said. Yeah.
Well, if you want, I know it's a bit late there now. If you want, we will schedule a time. How about we do that? We'll schedule a time.
Yes, please.
This week. And what we might do is, if we can make some updates, the following week, we'll show them. Yes. And then that forces you to make these changes. How about that?
I know. I'm accountable.
You are accountable. Do you like that idea?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I can show you what you can do. And it's a learning thing. Other people will learn from this.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll wrap it up. You can send me, or I'll send you a calendar, and you can book a time in. Oh my God, pressure. Okay. We will make the changes. We'll show them next week, and I'll review someone else's portfolio and do the same thing.
Great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you got a lot out of this. Again, if you want your portfolio reviewed, let me know. I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to bring you in. Do you know what? There's no point in me reviewing your portfolio without you being here, because I don't know the theme that you're using. So we've had a comment, Kath, you're so supportive. I'll be staying up later because this is so worth it. Cool. That's what I want to hear. And share it if you like. If you like this series, if you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe. And that tells me you're liking it, and I can keep making more content for you. I think this is really important right now to help some people out with portfolios. I think you've got great bones there. Couple more images, changing a few things. We will do it this week. We will bring it back next week and show everyone what you've done. Okay? High five, sister. All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I know it's been like an hour and a half. You're like, oh, I'm sick of her voice. I will see you next week. We've got a great lineup. We're talking about videos. We're talking about loads of stuff. So tune in, like, subscribe so you can see what we've got lined up. Joe is saying, thanks, Kath. Just got back for the last few minutes. Can't wait to watch it. We had some really good discussions, Joe, so enjoy it. I'll sign off. Thank you, Pamela. I'll send you a calendar invite. Have a great day and have a great weekend, guys. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.